Now live from Seoul in South Korea. She's the correspondent for the NK News, is Ms. Jeongmin Kim. Ms. Kim, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon to you too. So now to begin, it's been confirmed this week that North Korea has test-fired 2 ballistic missiles into the East Sea and what is being reported as a message to Washington. So it feels like we've been here before. Is it back to business as usual for North Korea and Washington with heightened rhetoric about missile launches and military exercises?
Well, the gist is yes, North Korea is doing what it always has been doing. Like Biden said, he said there's no new wrinkle in what they are seeing. And I think that is a pretty accurate response, although it was about another missile test that was reported over the weekend. It seems North Korea is doing what it set to do already during the 8th Party Congress in January. They already set out a long list of weapons that they want to acquire and develop, and that meant that they were supposed to test it in the next coming months or years, and now they are doing that as they have already announced during January.
So now, Kim Jong-un's sister has reacted harshly to joint exercises involving the U.S. and South Korea by threatening to scrap dialogue and cancel a military accord. So would these actually be damaging to relations on the peninsula, or are these merely symbolic accords anyways?
I think it's same old, honestly. I think it's reiterating what, like I said, what they already said in January Party Congress, and what we can interpret from this is that nothing changed afterwards, after Biden's inauguration. During January, they already mentioned that they already hinted that they are not interested in diplomacy anymore unless there are new methods of calculations, as they frame it. And it seems North Korea considered that Biden has nothing new to offer. Like Kim Yo-jong said, they're not really happy about South Korea doing joint military exercises with the United States because they consider it a hostile policy and hostile action. And during Party Congress, they already said that unless these things are suspended, they will just do what they already did, creating the nuclear deterrence for themselves and building up its military capabilities in order to defend themselves from other nuclear powers, including the United States. So I think today's missile test, it was a short-range missile test with the 450 kilometers. I think it's in this equation. They are just boosting their military capabilities.
Now, one thing, the last American administration had a very different approach to most, with Trump favoring a business-like head-to-head approach. Was it an interesting experiment that came to nothing, or did it have some lasting effects?
I think it does have a lasting effect, but I wouldn't say that it's all good effect right now. I think it showed that Kim Jong-un was, to a certain extent, pretty serious about talking about denuclearization, at least with the United States, if he needs the right counterpart. But what we also see right now is that they are very disappointed with the result after putting all those diplomatic energy into talking with former President Donald Trump, and it seems that Kim Jong-un just lost faith in even unconventional leader like Trump bringing a deal that Kim Jong-un will find satisfactory. So what we can tell is that although they may have been serious for a while about denuclearization, they could not, maybe they are not anymore after being a bit disillusioned after Trump.
Now, finally, when it comes to Korean policymakers, we're entering the final year of the Moon Jae-in's presidency. So what do you think his legacy will be in terms of denuclearization and diplomacy with North Korea?
I think President Moon Jae-in already knows that a complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula is almost impossible during his term. And I think he already made it pretty clear a couple of years ago when he said that the goal for the Moon administration is to build a foundation for unification or a peaceful coexistence with North Korea by 2045. That's a very long-term plan. And the legacy, I guess, is the three groundbreaking meetings between Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un, and showing the world that if things are done the right way, meeting and dialogue is possible to a certain extent. But the caveat to that legacy is that whenever North Korea just decides to ditch those agreements, they can, like we saw in June last year when they blew up the Inter-Korean liaison office, unfortunately.
All right, Jeongmin Kim, thank you so much for taking out the time to speak to us. We appreciate your analysis and hope to speak to you again sometime soon.
Thanks for having me.